Hi everyone, in Algebra 30 today we're going to be going over your questions on lesson 76 starting on number 1. It says there are 10 people present. How many committees of 8 could be selected from the 10 people? So number 1, we're going to do out of 10 people, we're going to choose them 8 at a time. And that formula is going to be 10 factorial over 10 minus 8 factorial, 8 factorial. So we have 10, 9, and then 8 factorial. 10 minus 8 is 2, so that would be 2 factorial. So that would be just 2 times 1, and then times 8 factorial. So you should see that the 8 factorials are going to cancel. And then 2 goes into 10 5 times. So 5 times 9 would just be 45. So 10 items chosen 8 at a time without order. 2, a club has 10 members and wants them to post 6 at a time for a group picture. How many groups of 6 can be formed from the 10 people? So same type of problem as the last one. We're going to have 10 people chosen 6 at a time. So that would be 10 factorial over 10 minus 6 factorial, and then 6 factorial. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 factorial over 4, 3, 2, 1 times 6 factorial. So the 6 factorials are going to cancel. And then 4 times 2 is 8, and then 3 goes into 9 3 times. So we really have 30 times 7, which would be 210. Now moving on to number 3, the trombone was marked up 20% of the cost to set a selling price of $480. It did not sell, so the dealer reduced the markup to 15% of the cost. What was the new selling price? How much did 76 trombones cost at the new selling price? So 20% of the cost to sell. So this would be the selling price would be equal to 120% of the cost. The selling price is $480. Which means $80 divided by 1.2. The cost is $400. Okay. But then it says it did not sell, so the dealer reduced the markup to 15% of the cost. What was the new selling price? So selling price would be equal to 1.15 of the cost, which is 400. So multiply that by 1.15, and that's going to give you a selling price of $460. So what was the new selling price? The new selling price was $450 or $460. And that says how much does 76 trombones cost? So 460 times 76 equal to $34,960. Now moving on to number 4, it says Miranda is 1 year older than Roger. 8 years ago, 3 times Miranda's age exceeded twice Roger's age by 6. How old will both of them be in 17 years? So we have, for number 4, we have Miranda and we have Roger's current age. And then 8 years ago, that would be, that would be m minus 8 and r minus 8 for 8 years ago. So those are my variables. So it says Miranda is 1 year older than Roger. Then 8 years ago, 3 times Miranda's age. So this would be 3 times m minus 8 exceeded 2 times r minus 8 by 6. Now I would distribute that, so I get 3m minus 24 equals 2r minus 16 plus 6. And then we can move the 24 to the other side. So really I have 3m equals 2r plus 14, I think. So that's negative 16 plus 6 plus 24 gives us, 14. Now I'm going to do substitution and input that into the top. And this should be 3m. So that'd be 3 times r plus 1 equals 2r plus 14. So 3r plus 3 equals 2r plus 14, which means that Roger's current age is going to be equal to 11. And that means Miranda's current age is going to be equal to 12. But we want to know how old they will be in 17 years. So in 17 years, Roger is going to be 28. And in 17 years, Miranda will be 29. So 28 and 29 are your answers. Now number 5, Pushmataha ran as fast as he could, but he could only cover y yards in m minutes. So he arrived 15 minutes late. How fast should he have run to arrive on time? So for number 5, the distance is going to be y, the time is going to be m. His new distance is still going to be y, but his new time is going to change because he originally was 15 minutes late. So I need to take his original time and take away 15 minutes from it, which means that his new rate is just distance divided by time. And that's your result. Now we've already done 6, 7, and 8 from this lesson. So now we're going to be looking at number 9, which is using Kramer's rule. So for Kramer's rule, this is the one where you start with 2 matrices stacked on top of each other. Matrix over a matrix. This will be my x. And then my y. This is my x and y column, x and y. And the denominator, you're just going to fill it with the coefficients. So that would be, excuse me, that would be 6 and 3, and then negative 4 and 2. Same over here, 6 and 3, negative 4 and 2. Now, if you're solving for x, you change that column to what the equation is equal to, so 5 and 6. And your y column stays the same, so negative 4, 2. Now, if I'm solving for y, the x column stays the same. The y column is going to change to what the equation is equal to, so 5 and 6. So now I'm going to evaluate. So on the top, I'm going to multiply 5 times 2 minus negative 4 times 6 over 6 times 2 minus negative 4 times 3. So that's going to give me 10 plus 24 over 12 plus 12. So we have 34 over 24, which would simplify to x is going to be equal to 17 over 12. Now for the second part, I just need to evaluate the top. So I'm going to do 6 times 6 minus 5 times 3, and that's going to be over 24 because I've already evaluated the denominator. So we get 36 minus 15 over 24. So that'd be 21 over 24. That's both divisible by 3. So y is going to be equal to 7 over 8. And that is number 9. Now looking at number 10, we have a 5-sided regular polygon is inscribed in a circle whose radius is 12 inches. Find the area of the polygon and the radius of the circle that can be inscribed in the pentagon. Okay, so 5-sided regular polygon would look like this. So I'm going to try and give you a visual. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this would be inscribed in a circle. So this would be the circle whose radius is 12. So that means from here to a point on the circle would be 12. Find the area of the polygon and find the radius of the circle that can be inscribed in the pentagon. So the one that can be inscribed in the pentagon would be this one here. And the radius of that one would end up just being the height. So I'm just going to redraw one of the triangles. So know that you could split this into 5 isosceles triangles, but 10 right triangles. So I know that the slant is 12. I'm trying to find the height. I also need to know the base so that I can find the area. The first thing I'm going to do is find the angle. So it's going to be 360 divided by how many right triangles there are. And that would be 10 right triangles. So that means the angle is going to be 36 degrees. And since we need to find both pieces, we're going to use 2 different trig functions to solve for the base, and then a different one to solve for the height. So I'm going to use sine to solve for the base. So it would be sine of 36 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So it's going to be 12 times 36 sine equals, and my base is going to be equal to 7.05. Then for the height, I'm going to use cosine. So cosine of 36 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So 12 times 36 cosine equals, that would be, the height would be equal to 9.71. So that is the height of the triangle, but it's also going to be the radius of the inscribed circle. So I'll say the radius is going to be equal to 9.71 inches. Now I'm going to do the area. So I have 10 of these right triangles. So I'm going to do 10 times 1/2 base times height. So really, I'm going to do 10 times 7.05 times 9.71 divided by 2 gives me an area of 342.28 inches squared. And that would conclude number 10. Now looking at number 11, we have the length of the side of an 8-sided regular polygon is 5 inches. What is the radius of the circle that can be circumscribed about the octagon? So for this one, I can't really draw, but to give you a visual, I am going to draw just one of the isosceles triangles. So there would be 8 of these. And then when you draw a circle around the outside, we're trying to find this slant right here. It says that the length of each side is 5, which means that the base of the right triangle is the one we're going to focus on, would be 2.5. We're trying to find this slant here. I need to find the angle, so I'm going to do 360 divided by 16, because there would be 16 right triangles on an 8-sided figure. So 360 divided by 16 would give me 22.5 degrees. And we are going to use sine. So sine of 22.5 equals opposite, which is 2.5, over hypotenuse, which is r. So the radius is going to be equal to 2.5 divided by the sine of 22.5. And that would give me a radius of 6.53 inches. And that's all you would need to do on that one. So you're just trying to find the radius. You didn't have to find the area on that one. So make sure you're reading the problem carefully to see what they're actually looking for. Now on number 12, we are asked to find the missing parts of this triangle right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by solving for B on number 12. So B would be equal to 180 minus 110 minus 40. So B is going to be equal to 30. Then from there, I have to use my law's signs to set up my ratios. So I'm going to do A over the sine of 110. Eight over the sine of 40. And B over the sine of 30. And now I'm just going to start by cross multiplying these first two. So that's A times sine of 40 equals 8 times sine of 110. So 8 times 110 sine equals, divided by 40 sine equals, and that's going to give me A is equal to 11.70. And that would be feet. Now to solve for B, I'm going to cross multiply these two. So that would be B times sine of 40 equals 8 times sine of 30. So I'm going to do 8 times 30 sine equals, divided by 40 sine equals, and for B, I get 6.22 feet. So law of sines, first one was just using the fact that a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. Now looking at number 13, all we have to do is change this into standard form before we graph it, which means I need to divide everything by 36. So for 13, I'm going to get 6x squared over 36 plus 3y squared over 36 equals 36 over 36. So that would become x squared over 6 plus y squared over 12 equals 1. Now remember, to find the distance away from the origin on each axis, you take the square root of the denominators. And obviously that's not going to come out evenly, so approximately on the y-axis, you're going to go approximately 3.5. And then on the x-axis, you're going to go approximately a little less than 2.5. So that's approximately. I'll do 2 equal sign. Okay, so now one, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so approximately 2.5, but a little less would be about here. And 3.5 would be approximately here. And then you can just connect your dots. And that would be your ellipse. Now moving on to number 14. This one is going to be one that you have to use your chart. It says, Ben calculates that the life of a certain type of light bulb is approximately normally distributed with a mean of 750 and a variance of 2500. Approximately what percentage of the light bulb will last between 740 and 780? Okay, so we know the variance on this one. We have to actually find the standard deviation. So the standard deviation is just the square root of the variance. So 2500 square root would be 50. Now I'm going to draw a standard normal table. It looks like this, where the mean is at 750. And we are trying to find between 740 and 780. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the percentage below 740. So from here to here, and then find the percentage that's below here. And then I'll find the difference between the two of them. So that means I need to calculate the z-score for each. And the way you do that is you do x minus the mean. So it would be 740 minus 750 divided by the standard deviation, which is 50. So that would be 740 minus 750 divided by 50 would be negative 0.2. Now the z-score for the other will be 780 minus 750 divided by 50. So 780 minus 750 divided by 50 would give me positive 0.6. So now I need to go to my standard normal table and I need to find the percentages that fall below each of those numbers. So the first one is negative 0.2. So I'm going to go down to negative 0 and then over to 0.2. That gives me the percentage of 42.07. 42.07. So from here to here, 42.07%. Now for the positive 0.6, I'm going to go down to positive 0. Over to 0.6 would give me 72.57%. So 72.57, and I want to find the difference between the two, so I'll do 72.57% minus 42.07%. And that would give me 30.5%. And that's how we use z-score. Then lastly is number 15. So we're just going to be solving for this matrix. Remember, you're going to start top left times bottom right. So that would be, for number 15, I would have 1 minus a times 2 minus a minus 3 times 2 equals 0. I'm going to multiply this out. So 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times negative a is negative a. Negative a times 2 would be negative 2a. Negative a times negative a would be a squared. And then minus 6. So this would be written a squared minus 3a minus 4 equals 0. And that does factor evenly for us. That would be a minus 4 times a plus 1 equals 0, which means I have two results for a. It would be a is equal to positive 4 and a is equal to negative 1. And that should conclude your questions from lesson 76. I hope you guys all have a great day and enjoy the weather and have an awesome weekend. Bye.